It's the middle of the night, July 6th, 2012. A sleepy West Virginia neighborhood is quiet under the summer sky. The only sound is the faint hum of crickets and the occasional car far off in the distance. But inside one house, a teenage girl is wide awake. 16-year-old Skylar Neese slides open her bedroom window. Her parents are asleep down the hall, completely unaware that this will be the last time they ever see their daughter alive. The surveillance camera of a nearby apartment catches a fleeting image, a shadowy figure climbing into a waiting car. She shuts the door, the engine hums, and the vehicle disappears into the night. For her parents, it begins as any other morning. They call her name, expecting to hear her groggy teenage voice. But her bed is empty, her room is silent, and panic begins to seep in. This was supposed to be a typical summer night for a teenager, a late hangout with her best friends. But what started as laughter and secrets ended in blood and betrayal. Because those friends, the ones she trusted more than anyone else in the world, had no intention of bringing her home. By dawn, Skylar Neese was missing. By evening, a family was broken. And by the time the truth came out, an entire community would never see friendship the same way again. This is the story of a teenager whose life was stolen by the very people she loved the most. A story of deception, of hidden jealousy, and of a betrayal so chilling, it shocked the nation. Skylar Neese was an only child, the light of her parents' lives. She grew up in Star City, West Virginia, in a modest but happy home. Her father, Dave, adored her sense of humor. Her mother, Mary, cherished their close bond. Skylar was witty, sharp, and ambitious. She earned top grades and dreamed of becoming a lawyer. She had a vibrant presence on social media, posting clever comments and inside jokes with friends. At school, she was the kind of girl people wanted to be around. Not because she was the loudest or most popular, but because she was genuine. Her parents trusted her. They knew she was a teenager, sure, with mood swings and sass. But Skylar was responsible. She worked part-time at Wendy's. She came home on time. She followed the rules. And like many teenagers, she had a tight-knit circle of friends. At the center of it all were two girls she considered her best friends, Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf. Skylar loved these girls. She confided in them, trusted them, and believed they'd be by her side for years to come. But hidden beneath the surface was a darker truth, one that not even Skylar fully understood. On her Twitter account, Skylar often posted cryptic messages, tweets like, "Sick of being caught in the middle," "Always being left out," "Always being lied to." Her parents brushed it off as teenage drama. But in hindsight, these words would read like foreshadowing, desperate signals of the storm that was about to break. To everyone else, the three girls were inseparable. They shared selfies, went to football games, and spent countless nights at each other's houses. But behind the smiles, tension brewed. Sheila Eddy was the bold one, outspoken, charismatic, and used to getting her way. Rachel Schoaf, on the other hand, was quieter, more reserved, and often followed Sheila's lead. Skylar was caught between them. Sometimes she was the glue holding the group together. Other times, she was the one left out. Classmates later recalled how the dynamic often felt unbalanced. Skylar and Rachel would argue, Skylar and Sheila would bicker. And more often than not, Sheila seemed to play both sides, pulling strings. In one tweet, Skylar wrote, "You doing shady like that is why I will never completely trust you." There were secrets, betrayals, and fights. But to anyone watching, it seemed like normal teenage drama. After all, what group of best friends doesn't fight? What nobody knew was that Sheila and Rachel had taken things far beyond arguments and jealousy. They weren't just annoyed with Skylar. They wanted her gone, and they were planning her death. For weeks, they whispered about it. They laughed about it. They even planned the weapons they would use. Why? Later, when police pressed Rachel for a motive, her chilling answer was simple. We just didn't like her anymore. It was a hot summer night when Sheila and Rachel texted Skylar to sneak out. They told her they wanted to go for a drive, smoke, hang out. Nothing unusual. At 12:30 a.m., Skylar opened her bedroom window, climbed out, and got into Shelia's car. The girls laughed as they drove across the state line into rural Pennsylvania, but there was a heaviness in the air. Skylar didn't know it, but she was sitting between two people who had already decided she wouldn't make it home. They parked in a remote wooded area, a place they'd been before. They chatted, smoked, and walked around. Then, Shelia gave Rachel the signal. They counted down. 1, 2, 3. Knives flashed. Skylar screamed, fighting desperately. Her last words, according to Rachel's later confession, were, "Why?" The attack was brutal. Dozens of stab wounds. The forest was silent, except for Skylar's cries and the sound of betrayal. When it was over, the two girls tried to bury her body with rocks and branches. It was messy, clumsy, and heartless. Then they climbed back into the car and drove home as if nothing had happened. The next morning, Skylar's parents knocked on her door. No answer. Her bed was untouched. At first, they thought she might have gone to a friend's house, but as the hours stretched on, dread consumed them. They reported her missing. Police checked surveillance cameras and quickly spotted Skylar getting into Shelia's car. But when Shelia and Rachel were questioned, they played the part of concerned friends perfectly. They claimed they dropped Skylar off down the road because she didn't want her parents to catch her sneaking out. For weeks, they visited the Neese home, hugged Skylar's mother, and tweeted about how much they missed their best friend. All the while, they knew exactly where she was. Detectives were suspicious. Shelia and Rachel's stories didn't line up. Their social media activity seemed rehearsed. Months dragged on with no answers. The community grew restless. Skylar's parents never gave up. They went on TV, pleaded for information, and begged the girls, unknowingly embracing their daughter's killers, for the truth. Finally, in December 2012, the weight of guilt crushed Rachel. Rachel had a breakdown. In a trembling voice, she confessed to police, "We stabbed her. She's dead." Investigators were stunned. She led them to the remote Pennsylvania woods where Skylar's remains were found. 6 months of agony for her parents ended in a single, devastating moment. The killers weren't strangers. They weren't predators. They were Skylar's best friends. Rachel Schoaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 30 years. Shelia Eddy showed no remorse. She went to trial, smirking through proceedings, and was sentenced to life in prison. In court, Skylar's parents listened as the details of their daughter's death were laid bare. Their pain was immeasurable, their grief bottomless. The courtroom was silent except for the sobs of family and the gavel's final strike. Skylar's parents live with the loss every single day. They continue to honor her memory, fighting for changes in missing children's laws. The community is forever scarred. Friendship, something so innocent, so pure, was turned into a weapon. Skylar's story is more than a crime. It's a chilling reminder that betrayal often comes from those closest to us. And though her life was cut short, her voice, her laughter, her spirit continues to echo. Skylar Neese was just 16, and she deserved so much more. Tell us your thought in the comments section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here at True Crime C8D, we tell the stories you'll never forget.